I drove for one of the apps for 6 months. It was supposed to be a side thing. It was a full-time thing with none of the things that used to make a thing a job. I want to talk about that. Not about the company. Not about the founder who got rich. Not about the IPO that minted billionaires while drivers ate in their cars. About something underneath all of that. About what happened to work itself in the years we've been alive. About the trick they pulled when nobody was looking, except all of us were looking. And we did not have a word for what we were watching. And so we let it happen, and we are still letting it happen, and we are getting tired. The trick was simple. They took the job, the thing my grandfather had, with the hours and the wages and the benefits and the protections. And they kept the work, and they got rid of everything else. The work stayed, the compensation got cut, the protections got removed, the risk got pushed onto the worker, and they called the new arrangement freedom. They put it in marketing materials. Be your own boss, make your own hours, be a partner, be a creator, be empowered. And we were tired, and we needed money, so we said yes. And once enough of us said yes, the old jobs started to disappear. Because why would they keep paying for the old version when the new version was cheaper? And now my nephew is 23, and the old version of work is something he has heard about but never seen. Like vinyl, like a phone book, like a thing his father had. I want to read you something. This is from a real driver's earnings statement on a real Tuesday in a real American city. I am rounding the numbers a little for clarity, but the proportions are right. Tuesday earnings, 9.5 hours online. Gross fares, $142.50. Platform fees at 24%, approximately $34.20 deducted. Gas, 147 miles at the average cost for a gallon of gasoline, approximately $22.05 deducted. Maintenance and depreciation, approximately $28.30 deducted. Self-employment tax at 15.3%, approximately $8.83 deducted. Health insurance, none. Sick leave, none. Retirement contribution, none. Net per hour, $5.16. $5.16 an hour. The federal minimum wage is $7.25 and has been since 2009. This driver is, on a Tuesday, in 2024, earning $2 an hour less than the federal minimum, which itself has not been raised in 15 years. He is working for a company worth $80 billion. The company tells the press he is an entrepreneur. The press reports it. He is not an entrepreneur. He is a man who can no longer afford his rent, who has been given the title entrepreneur instead of being given a raise. I want to tell you what they took, not in the abstract, in a list, because the abstract lets them keep doing it. The list does not. They took health insurance. The job he replaced, the cab driver, the medallion holder, the union driver, had health insurance. He does not. If he gets sick, he stops earning. If he gets seriously sick, he stops everything. They took sick leave. He cannot call in sick because there is nothing to call. He just does not log in. The app does not call him. The app does not check on him. The app waits for the next driver to log in, which someone always does, because there is always someone who needs the money. They took unemployment insurance. When the demand drops, he is not laid off. He is just not deployed. The unemployment system, which was built for the old kind of job, does not see him because he was never officially employed. He pays into Social Security through self-employment tax, but he cannot collect unemployment when the rides dry up. They took workers' compensation. If he gets in an accident on the job, the company is not legally responsible. He's a contractor. He's using his own car. The injury is between him and his health insurance, which he does not have, and his car insurance, which probably does not cover commercial use, which he probably did not disclose to the insurer because if he had, they would have raised his rate or canceled his policy. They took the right to organize. He cannot unionize because he is not technically an employee. The labor laws written in 1935 to protect workers do not apply to him because the people writing the laws in 1935 could not imagine an arrangement where the worker was technically self-employed, but in practice fully directed by an algorithm in a building 2,000 miles away. The law has not caught up. The companies have made sure the law does not catch up. They spent $224 million on a single California ballot measure to keep things the way they are. $224 million to make sure he could not have sick days. They did not take the job from him. They kept the job. They just took everything that used to come with it and called the leftover an opportunity. And here's the part I want you to sit with for a second, because this is the part that makes me angry in the specific way I want to be angry, which is not loud, just clear. This is not an accident of new technology. The technology did not require this arrangement. There is no law of physics that says an app dispatching cars must be staffed by independent contractors with no benefits. You could build the same app with employees, with wages, with sick leave, with insurance. The technology is neutral. The arrangement is a choice. The arrangement was chosen because it was cheaper for the company and because the regulatory framework had not been updated to require otherwise, and because workers had been weakened for over 40 years of union decline to the point where they could not negotiate as a class. The arrangement was a policy decision made in private by people you have never heard of, sold to the public as innovation, and absorbed by the workforce as the new normal. It is not the new normal. It is a regression dressed up as a future. The boomers had a job, with protections, with benefits, with the assumption that the floor was there. Millennials had a career, with anxiety, with the floor cracking, with the suspicion that the deal had been renegotiated without us in the room. Gen Z has a gig, with an algorithm, with no floor at all, with a phone that pings at 2 a.m. offering $4.75 to drive across town. That is 3 generations, one disappearing structure, each generation getting less than the one before it and being told the diminished thing is actually better. Because freedom, because flexibility, because the future. The future was sold to us as something we wanted. I want to end with something practical, because I am tired of monologues that just describe and do not point. The arrangement can be changed. It is being changed. California's Assembly Bill 5, before it got partially gutted by Proposition 22, would have classified gig workers as employees. New York is fighting the same fight. The European Union has passed worker classification rules that the platforms hate. The classification fight is being fought in courts, in legislatures, at the ballot box, in dozens of cities. The companies are winning when nobody shows up. They are losing when people do. You can vote for state legislators who support worker classification reform. You can support the union drives at Amazon, at Starbucks, at the Apple Store, at every place where workers are trying to do what their grandparents took for granted. You can refuse the framing when someone tells you gig workers want to be independent contractors. Some do. Most do not. Surveys asked directly find a large majority would prefer benefits. The framing is in the cover story. The cover story can be refused. Most importantly, you can name what is happening. When you hear the future of work, translate it. The future of work in their mouths means the past of work, before the New Deal, before the labor movement, before the protections that made the post-war middle class possible. They are selling it to you as forward. It is backward. It is a backward they branded forward and printed in a font. Refuse the font. The app knows where you are. It does not know your name. It does not need to. It just needs you to keep driving. You can stop driving toward this and start driving toward something else.